Good morning, students. After the completion of this ancestry of chordates and distinguishing features between non-chordates and chordates, today we will move to the classification of phylum Chordata up to classes, which includes the major classes Pisces, amphibians, reptiles, caves and mammals. We have also studied the fundamental characters of chordates. Hope you understood all these three subjects from this first topic, Introduction to Chordates. So let's see the classification of phylum Chordata in detail. Phylum Chordata is broadly subdivided into two major groups. One is Protochordata and another is Vertebrata, which is also called as Craniata. Protochordata means the individuals which bearing the primitive chordate characters. Proto means primitive and chordata means the basic fundamental characters of chordates. Which are these? Notochord, nerve chord and pharyngeal gills along with the post-anal tail. So these are the fundamental characters of chordates. Now these protochordates, which are again subdivided into three major subphyla. One is Hemichordata, second is Urochordata or Tunicata, and third is Cephalochordata. Hemi means half and chordata the chordate characters, and that's why these hemichordates are placed in a separate phyla, because it has to be considered the connecting link between non-chordate and chordates, and the chordate characters are not persist throughout life. So that's why this hemichordata is to be placed in separate group or the separate subphylum. And the examples of hemichordates are this Balanoglossus or Saccoglossus, and these are marine water individuals, lives at the bottom of the ocean. Then the second one is Urochordata, or it is also called as Tunicata. Uros means the tail and the chordata means the chordate character, basically the notochord. And the Tunicata means the individuals which lives into the test or tunic. These are also the marine water individual. And the examples of Urochordata are Herdmania, Salpa and Doliula. The third subphyla from the Protochordata is Cephalochordata. So it is the first individuals or the first subphyla which have these fundamental characters which persist throughout life in them, that is notochord, nerve chords and gills, which after the just early development they appear, and up to the death of the individual they remain as it is. So this is about the cephalochordate. They are also exclusively marine water individuals, and the examples are this Amphioxus branchiostomes, or the scientific name of the individual is Branchiostoma lanceolata. So this is about the protochordate. The second group of the chordates is vertebrata or craniata. Vertebrata means they are having the vertebral column. The convergence of notochord into this vertebral column, and the conversion of this nerve cord into spinal cord. So this is about the modification of these fundamental characters into the higher chordates. So these vertebrates are also considered or called as higher chordates. So let's see the vertebrates. Vertebrates are again broadly subdivided into two major this groups. One is Agnatha. Agnatha means absence of jaws, and Gnathostomata, in which the jaws are present. So these are the two major groups of vertebrata or craniata. Now the Agnathans are having the only one living class, Cyclostomata. Cyclostomata means circular mouth, the individuals which bearing the circular mouth. And examples are Petromyzon as well as Myxine. So they are aquatic individuals, just fish-like individuals, but the mouth is circular, they are not having the jaw. And the second group, that is Gnathostomata, which are having the jaws. So let's see the classes of gnathostomes. Gnathostomes is again subdivided into two major superclasses. One is a Pisces, which are the individuals which are having the fins, and the second one is Tetrapods, the individuals which are having the limbs. So these are the two major superclasses of Gnathostomata. Then Pisces are again subdivided into two major classes. One is Chondrichthyes and another is Osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes means the earlier fish or the primary fish, means the cartilaginous fish, the individuals which are having the cartilage instead of the bony endoskeleton. The endoskeleton is cartilaginous. That's why these fishes are called as Chondrichthyes fishes. And the higher developed fishes are called as Osteichthyes fishes, in which the cartilage is to be modified and the bones are to be present. The endoskeleton is bony in case of Osteichthyes fishes. So these are the two major classes in Pisces. Then let's see the tetrapods. Tetrapods means the individuals which are bearing the limbs. So tetra means 4, the individuals bearing the 4 limbs, and it has the major 4 classes: amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammals. So in case of this vertebrata, we have studied Agnatha and Gnathostomata. Agnathans are aquatic. Gnathostomes, which again divided into two superclasses. One is Pisces and another is tetrapods. So the Pisces are also aquatic, and tetrapods, the tetrapod individuals, they are generally aquatic as well as terrestrial. They are also aerial. So let's see the tetrapod individuals, those which are having the 4 limb. Number first one is amphibia. Amphibia means the individuals which can live inside the water as well as outside the water. Though they are aquatic, but specifically found in fresh water only, or confined to the fresh water only. And the examples are frogs, toads. So this is about the amphibians living in fresh water as well as on the land. The earlier development of the amphibians, they need the water. There is a compulsory need of water for the earlier development of this amphibian. And then later on, after the development, they dwell on the land. So the primary development just started into the water. That's why they are having the pharyngeal gills for the respiration, and they are generally called as the tadpoles, the larvae of the frog. And as the tadpole which develop, these pharyngeal gills are to be disappears and the lungs are going to be developed into the frog. So these are the individuals, first individuals which come outside the water on the land, amphibian. Then the second one is reptiles. Reptiles are the creeping or the crawling individuals, or the creeping crawling vertebrate. They are just totally present on the land, and for the respiration they have developed the lungs. So lungs are the primary organ for respiration in these reptiles, aves and mammals. So this is about the reptilia, which are crawling one. The examples are the snakes and lizard. It includes the snakes, lizards as well as turtles. Then the third one is aves. Aves means the individuals which fly in air, that is birds. They are having the flight ability as these feathers are developed and the wings are present and the bones are hollow. That's why they can easily fly in air with this hollow bones and light in weight aerodynamic structure. So that is about the aves, all birds which comes under the aves. And the last class of this gnathostome or this tetrapod is mammals. So mammals are highly developed individuals from this chordata or from whole animal kingdom. So they have the land dwelling individuals, tetrapod individuals, and the hairs are present on the body, external ear pinna is present, these mammary glands are present, they feed the young one with the milk, and the development is direct. They are not laying the eggs as it in case of this Pisces, amphibians, reptiles and aves, they lay the eggs, but in mammals there is direct development. So this is about the brief classification of phylum Chordata. Then after this completion of the brief classification of the chordate, we will move towards the next topic in a detail, that is protochordate. So if you have any kinds of the query or the doubt regarding this classification of chordata, please feel free to comment so that I can solve all these kinds of your query. Thank you.